Hi everyone, I'm Dave. I'm a team member for Haunted Nights and we are here at the Haunted Objects Museum in Rotherham. As you can see, we're in one of the many rooms that this location has. The building itself has quite a weird and wonderful history. Originally it was a pit miner's house. Many families would live here in these multiple rooms. The location now is actually used to store all these weird and wonderful dolls and objects that you see here. Apparently everything or majority of things that are in this location have some kind of cursed or haunted aspect about it. Yeah, a few of them, yeah, not so friendly, I would say. But the building itself, again, has multiple rooms, different things around. So you've got like various rooms, like one's a demon room, which has like cursed objects, sort of negative side of it. Just on the other side of this door, there's a room which has what's called the Crime Boy pictures, which many of you may have heard stories from your grandparents and so on throughout the years. These pictures are supposedly cursed, like for the households that they were put up on the walls, like massive fires, and these things were the kind of things that would survive the fire. The good people that are filming this at the moment are K&L Ghosthunters. You'll find them on YouTube. They've been coming around to a lot of our locations, filming a lot of our events, and they've caught some weird and wonderful activity. Have a look and see what you think, and comments, and basically like and subscribe with them. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And the same with us as well. Go onto our Facebook as well and have a nosy at what we get. But yeah, so the location itself, it's around about 9 rooms. Lots to sort of see and do around here. There's lots I won't touch. You may call me a bit of a wimp, but there's lots of things here that I'm very sort of dubious about looking at or touching about. So yeah, other than that, we can have a little wander around and just see what we can sort of show you. Just right, as I said before, one of the rooms that we investigate and have quite a bit of activity is this one, which is what we class as the bridal room. Obviously you can see there's a bridal dress here, and there is one just to my left hand side. But the one thing that does stand out in here is this little bridal doll here. Now this one, like I say, is the one that's been like on TV around the country. Again, there's videos apparently on YouTube with it sort of floating about, not literally floating, but apparently it does move from time to time. It has been known to scratch the owners, husbands, boyfriends, and so on. When we've been here, the room itself has a sort of kind of ominous feel about it. Guests have experienced being touched in the room, but we don't know whether it would be something sort of generated from this actual doll or whether it be something generated from the dresses. And again, there's supposedly a lady in white who wanders sort of this area. Now, is it a lady who's, for instance, like lost her life like during marriage or prior to being married or so on and so forth, and whether she's wandering around looking for a dress, don't know. Tend to find though it is more male energy that gets sort of interacted with in here, whereas the female energy just generally not so much. But again, it's not a room I particularly like staying in. I'm not a lover of dolls anyway, but yeah, if that was in my house, I don't think I'd enjoy even 5 minutes alone with it. But yeah, but lots of people do experience a lot going on in here, and yeah, when you look at like some of the objects, even though there's not a lot in here, this does seem to be the key thing. So yeah, very interesting room to be in. Who knows, like we might end up one day getting a full apparition of someone in here, but again, until that day comes, we'll all just keep trying and see. Right, so another one of the rooms that we get to investigate tonight is this room, which is now classed as the morgue room. Obviously, as you can see, there's a morgue sort of slab stroke table in the centre of the room. It is an original table with drain. Obviously it drains off to nothing at the moment because it is literally in the centre of the floor, but you would have had many a body sort of placed on that over the years. The room itself does have quite a few little objects sort of around it. Yeah, it's sort of set out in like to give you that feel that it is like a morgue or along that lines. However, the room prior to that, it did have like this kind of shop sort of here. That being said, on investigations that we've had, we used to have people that would sort of stay over in this room and sleep over, and one thing we did get a lot was shadow figures. Lots of people walking about, so your lay here was like a little tap above us, and I don't know where that came from. But you'd be lay here with your little sleeping bag and the doorway would be open and you'd see figures sort of walking across. Even throughout the night, people would sense being touched in here. When we've had an investigation, one thing that does work really well in this room is Ouija board, for that matter. Guests do enjoy sort of using the board in here because the communication does come across quite well. You do get lots of sort of names and sort of dates and things like that. The room itself, like I say, would have been another sort of area that the pit miners would have lived in as a large group. Like I say, 9 rooms. You would have like a full family just in this one room, another one in another room. So lots of energy, lots of people just floating about. But other than that, like this room does have its moments, and yeah, I suppose not for the faint-hearted at times. And here we are down in the cellar of the Haunted Objects Museum. Again, another room that does hold some weird and wonderful things. Just to my right hand side, there are a couple of divot boxes which have been opened. Whether that's released something into the building when they were brought here or whether they were done elsewhere by the previous owners, I do not know. Some of the things we've had down here, yes, we've had people get touched. We've had people like see shadow figures in here. Even though when the lights are off, you do get a tiny bit of light. Again, it's just one of those more sort of physical interactive kind of areas. However, using the likes of a spirit box down in this area has proved over the times that we've investigated to be really worthwhile. We've had guests with like weird and wonderful names who have their names have been repeated, conversations have been said. But again, when you look at what's in here, I mean, just sort of opposite me, there is like a voodoo doll hanging from the ceiling. There is obviously like the divot boxes, and again, what kind of entities would be attached to these actual objects. Whether they appreciate us being in here, sort of communicating or trying to communicate with them is another thing. We have had people admittedly sleep down here on blow-up beds, and they've woke in the night with what felt like pressure being pushed down onto them, to the point where they've literally dragged the blow-up bed up the stairs and back into the base room, hoping and praying that there's a space on the floor for us to actually allow them to sleep. As a location, as a little visual area, I quite like it in here. Obviously, with the investigations that we do cover a lot of locations around the country, whether it be the Black Swan in York, Strelley Hall, we have the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham, again a fantastic location, a large location to get around, one of my favourites, I'll be honest. We do obviously many a location in this area like Ripon, Doncaster, Ripon Workhouse I should say. Again, three locations over one night. Just a fantastic venue to actually go and investigate. But the beauty about that is on our nights, you become the ghost hunter, you come and join us. It's your night, it's for you to get involved, and it's for you to experience what we experience. So other than that, I'll say thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on this little walk around of the Haunted Objects Museum in Rotherham.